This is the Money Medic, and welcome to the Grand Illusion. And first, we got to do our disclaimers. But investing is safe. Don't be scared. The powers that be want to keep you scared. They use scary words like risk. I don't know what other word I'd use, but I just don't like the connotation that it has. Investing is very safe, just like driving a car. If you were driving a car blindfolded, that'd be right. Well, we're going to show you how to do things here at the Money Medic. It's a lot simpler than you think. But we're doing this for educational purposes. So any of these stocks or anything I show you, I'm not telling you to go out and buy them. Okay, so where do we start? Well, we start with Yahoo. And we don't use Yahoo because it's the best. We use Yahoo because it's free. And everybody has access to it. And they're one of the older ones around, so I'm kind of familiar with it. But, you know, MSN and AOL and Google, there's lots of these kind of sites out here. But we use Yahoo, and we go to Yahoo Finance. And here's how Yahoo Finance is. And the reason that we're doing this is because people don't understand money. They don't understand rates of return. Okay, so what is a good rate of return? Well, we go over here to personal finance. I think it's banking and budgeting. And savings accounts. Okay, here's normal rates of return over here. Now, a regular savings account pays 0.5. That's 0.5%. And they don't list those because those are pretty uniform across the board. Now, a CD is a certificate of deposit. And the time period, it's like this one, 6 months, it's saying you're telling Mr. Banker that you'll leave your money in there for at least 6 months. And for that 6 months, he's going to give you an extra 0.28%, so 0.78%. And then if you leave it in there for 1 year, here's how much he'll pay you. And if you leave it in 3 years, here's how much he'll pay you. Now, inflation, generally, we consider 3% to be average inflation. So you see right here, automatically, if you're a saver, your money's going backwards. MMA stands for money market account. Market account is kind of a cross between a CD and a savings account. Money market accounts have a minimum balance that you have to keep. Most of them are 1,000, but I've seen some as low as 500. And if you keep that much in there, they're going to pay you 0.74%. Also, a money market has a limitation that you can only do 5 transactions a month, which is, if you're using a savings account, there's no reason to. But you see, okay, if you put $10,000 in there, they're going to pay you a whopping 0.8%, not even 1%. Same thing with 25,000. They're not even going to pay you 1%. So going to a bank and putting your money in a bank, that's pretty much a loser's game, but that's how most people are doing it. Now you can find I've seen some CDs out there just recently that are, 3, 4, 5%, but that's still nothing to write home about. So when you go into, when you start to go to learn how to invest and learn in the stocks, they start teaching you mutual funds. Well, the reason they're teaching mutual funds is because the mutual fund companies pay a commission. I'm not a real big fan of mutual funds, and neither is the Motley Fool. Okay, and this is an older article I found on the Motley Fool. But you see, he says, well, why do all my mutual funds suck? Well, a mutual fund is about 100 different stocks and bonds. And if you have one that drops, the theory, 89 will hold it up. But then again, if you got one that's just going to town and climbing, the other 99 will hold it down. So that's going to guarantee you mediocre returns no matter what. Now, mutual funds, they have an active trader. Somebody's getting paid. And that's why the average actively managed mutual fund returns 2% less than the stock market in general. Well, now that's about what they charge for a fee. So, If you just want to set it and forget it, everybody else, Dave Ramsey and all those are saying just put it into a mutual fund. The only kind of mutual fund you'd want to do would be the Standard & Poor's Index 500. It just tracks the market as it all. But then again, now you're at the mercy of the market and somebody else is driving the car. So that's not a good plan, and that's not the plan that we want to do here at the Money Medic. So first, we're going to show you how to do dividend-paying stocks and why we do those. And one of my favorite stocks, used to be one of my favorite stocks, I don't have it in my portfolio no more, is Frontline Tankers. Okay, notice they're oil tankers. And back in the day when oil was up real high, there's an old saying, when everybody else is digging for gold, it's good to be selling the shovels. So that's why we looked in the front line. And as you see right now, it's saying it's paying 10%. $30 stock pays $3. Okay, so now we don't ever trust Google because Google is just a stupid computer program. So we go historical prices, dividends only, and get used to that. That's when you're going to write down that a lot. Okay, and we see a 15, a 25, a 75. How can they say this is paying $3? Well, what the computer did was, you see this is a quarterly paying stock. It pays 4 times a year. So our computer program says 75 cents times 4 is $3. So this is not returning 10%. But while we're here, I might as well show you. Now this paid this $8.31 right here. That's when it got my attention. And so I bought into it then. And you see this is, and look at the years, okay, what was oil doing back then? And you can see this is per share. $2.50, and then the very next month it paid $3.43, and then the very next month it paid $1.80. Then 2 months later it paid $5.85. And this was for, at the time, this was a $50 stock. So this was a really good payer all the way up until we hit the oil glut right through here. And as soon as they cut the dividend, I collected that 3. When they cut the dividend, they announced it, I sold it. So I still collected that one, but I haven't collected any of the other ones. But anyway, that's Frontline. And here's our summary. And on the summary, the only thing that really matters is this number and this number. Now, EPS is earnings per share. That's kind of nice to know. They're made $1.36 a share. And the PE ratio doesn't really matter much. You just don't want that too high. And, okay, so there's Frontline. And we see down here, well, we got some news. Dividend tax change may leave tankers wet. So somebody's getting ready to sock it to the tankers with a tax increase. Okay, but now there's a few different kind of stocks that I like better. And one of those is called Canadian Royalty Trust. And this is Penn West. They're one of the best. It says they're paying 8.7%. And so let's check. We go historical prices. Dividends only. And we see June, May, April, March, February. Okay, this is pays monthly. I like monthly payers. Easier to budget. And you see they're all paying, 13, 14, 15 cents. There's a little bit of movement, but not a whole lot. I mean, these are all. And we look back in time. Well, back in 07, when gas prices were high, they were collecting more money, but now we got a glut on the market, so now things are lower. And so that's right in line. And we 14 cents, 14 and a half cents. Well, 14 and a half cents times 12 is $1.40 and 28. Okay, that's right around there. So that's pretty accurate. It's right around an 8% return, which totally blows away anything you can do at a bank. But that's about it. You can get mutual funds to do that. Don't let me get you wrong there. Mutual funds will pay 8 or 10%, but that's about all they'll pay. Okay, another type that I like are called REITs. It's Real Estate Investment Trust. And I like those because I'm going to go down here to the business summary. Because there's one thing here I want you to read. The company has elected to be taxed as a real estate investment trust, REIT. As a REIT, the company would not be subject to federal corporate income taxes provided it distributes at least 90% of its taxable income to its stockholders. That's huge. Okay, the company doesn't pay taxes. That means you do. So these are what they call non-qualified. And historical prices. Dividends only. Remember I said we're going to get used to that one. All right. This one pays quarterly. This does not pay monthly. But 65, 68 cents. Take that.